Fix old cameras, up close and detailed repair videos of classic camera equipment. Your successful completion of the demonstrated repair ultimately depends on the quality of your tools, the condition of your camera, and most importantly, your repair ability.
A Mamiya C330 with a problem. What we have here is a failure of the shutter to complete its cycle. By nudging the speeds up past the use of the slow speed escapement, it does finally complete. So we will need to access the slow speed escapement. For demonstration purposes on the C330 shutter repair, we will be using an 80mm. But before we get started on the shutter repair, there's a little filter ring ding in the threads that needs to be addressed. A couple of shop-made tools, a little finesse, a little fine filing, and we're ready to go. You might need to use a friction wrench, or if your hands are strong, you can just thread the front lens group free. A half turn on the half moon retaining ring stop screw allows for the retaining ring to be removed with a spanner. Also at this time, do not forget to remove the aperture ring link screw. As you remove the diaphragm and shutter set rings, note their positions. Now the shutter speed cam can be accessed and removed. Note its position also. Next, set aside the cocking ring and note the position of the cocking gear. Note the position of the cocking spring. Now the two screws holding the speed escapement can be removed. Gently lift the speed escapement free of the housing and inspect it. It should be cleaned ultrasonically. If in lieu of an ultrasonic cleaner, you can flush clean it with alcohol or contact cleaner. Make sure it is completely cleaned before lubricating it very lightly at the pivot points with a light shutter oil. Once the slow speed escapement has been appropriately serviced, it, of course, needs to be reinstalled into the camera housing or the shutter housing. Two screws. The long screw goes in fairly easy. The short screw can be a bit tricky and sometimes has to be manipulated carefully to get it to seat. Once it's seated, of course, tighten it down. If the tension spring on the shutter cocking ring came loose, reattach it and then position and time the cocking rack of the ring with the cocking gear of the main shutter cocking mechanism. And as you seat the cocking ring, you'll need to be aware of the levers that ride against the cam as the ring is turned during the cocking procedure. Once the cocking gear pinion and the cocking ring are properly positioned, they will stay put as you place the shutter speed cam. The shutter speed cam needs to be positioned so that the cam followers are in the correct position and the cam followers engage properly. With the speed cam in place, set it to a slow shutter speed and give it a test. Sounds good. Okay, moving on. Place the shutter set ring. Place the aperture set ring, being aware of the aperture diaphragm linkage and being certain that the shutter speed set ring is engaged to the shutter cam. Once those are in the proper position, the retainer, of course, needs to be carefully placed as to not cross thread. Once the threads start, it can be tightened with a spanner. Give it a test. Looks good. Flip the half moon screw to lock the retaining ring in place. Thread in the main front lens group. Don't forget the aperture link screw. Carefully put it in position and gently tighten it down. It is brass. You can twist it off if you get too aggressive with the tightening procedure. Check the operation of the diaphragm and check the operation of the shutter speed. How about that? Not too bad.
Thank you for watching. Inspired? Check back for new video postings.